Welcome to Global World Watch. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. On November 7, 2025, the long-standing Sabah issue is back in the spotlight, drawing renewed attention from both regional and international observers. This isn't the first time Sabah has made headlines, but recent developments have brought the dispute to the forefront once again, making it a topic of urgent discussion across Southeast Asia and beyond. The latest events have reignited tensions between the Philippines and Malaysia, two neighboring countries with deep historical ties and a complex relationship. The diplomatic atmosphere has grown noticeably tense, with both sides making strong statements and their respective governments closely monitoring each other's moves. This resource-rich state on Borneo is once again the subject of diplomatic maneuvering, as the Philippines renews its claim and Malaysia stands firm in its position. Behind closed doors, officials from both countries are engaging in intense discussions, each side determined to protect its interests and sovereignty. Sabah's economic value, oil, gas, and palm oil, makes it vital for Malaysia, contributing significantly to its national revenue and providing livelihoods for thousands. For the Philippines, however, the claim is not just about resources. It's deeply rooted in history, national pride, and a sense of unfinished business that dates back generations. In a bold move, the Philippines recently submitted new documents to the United Nations, seeking to link the Sabah claim to broader regional disputes and international law. This step is seen as an attempt to gain wider support and put additional pressure on Malaysia, while also appealing to the global community for recognition of its historical arguments. Malaysia responded swiftly, defending its sovereignty and rallying support from its allies and the Malaysian public. Government officials have emphasized that Sabah is an integral part of Malaysia, and they are prepared to use all diplomatic and legal means to uphold their claim. This isn't about military conflict, but about legal arguments and international diplomacy. Both countries are turning to international law, historical treaties, and diplomatic negotiations to make their case, hoping to avoid escalation while still standing firm on their respective positions. The dispute is also a major test for ASEAN's unity and its ability to mediate sensitive issues among member states. Regional leaders are watching closely, aware that how this is handled could set a precedent for resolving other disputes in Southeast Asia. Both nations are under pressure to find a peaceful solution that respects the interests of all parties involved. Centuries-old history continues to shape today's headlines, with both sides convinced of their rightful claim. The story of Sabah is far from over, and as new chapters unfold, the world is reminded of how the past can echo powerfully into the present, influencing politics, identity, and the future of an entire region. To truly understand the roots of today's complex dispute over Sabah, we must journey back in time to the year 1878, when a pivotal agreement was forged between the Sultanate of Sulu and British representatives. This moment, captured in faded photographs and yellowed documents, set the stage for a conflict that would echo across centuries and shape the destinies of nations. At the very heart of this enduring conflict lies a single powerful word: pajak. The meaning of this word is hotly contested. Does it signify a lease, as the Philippines passionately claims, or does it mean cession, as Malaysia firmly insists? The answer to this question is not just a matter of semantics, but one that determines the fate of an entire region. The Philippines maintains that the Sultan of Sulu only leased Sabah to the British, arguing that true ownership was never surrendered. For generations, this belief has fueled diplomatic efforts and legal claims, with Filipino leaders and historians pointing to the original language of the agreement as evidence. On the other hand, Malaysia and the British have always interpreted the 1878 agreement as a permanent transfer of sovereignty. To them, the document marked the end of Sulu's rule and the beginning of a new era under British and later Malaysian administration. This single word, pajak, has fueled more than a century of diplomatic tension, legal battles, and passionate debate. It has become a symbol of how a small detail in a treaty can have enormous consequences for generations. Both sides have assembled teams of legal experts, historians, and diplomats, each armed with stacks of documents and interpretations that support their nation's claim. The archives are filled with letters, treaties, and testimonies, each offering a different perspective on what really happened in 1878. The British North Borneo Company's administration, followed by Sabah's entry into the Federation of Malaysia in 1963, further cemented Malaysia's position on the world stage. These events are celebrated in Malaysian history, but remain points of contention for the Philippines. The unresolved meaning of pajak continues to be the root of the modern dispute, sparking debates in parliaments, courtrooms, and diplomatic meetings to this day. The Sabah dispute is a powerful reminder that colonial-era deals, often made in distant rooms by foreign powers, can echo for generations, shaping the lives and identities of millions. The legacy of sultans, colonial companies, and the agreements they made still shapes international relations and national identities in Southeast Asia today. The story of Sabah is not just about land, but about history, pride, and the enduring impact of the past. Ultimately, the Sabah story is a lesson in how history refuses to stay in the past. It lives on in the present, shaping the future, and reminding us that the meaning of a single word can change the course of nations. For the Philippines, the Sabah claim is about historical right and national identity. The government maintains it inherited the Sultanate of Sulu's rights, viewing the 1878 agreement as a lease, not a sale. Annual payments from Malaysia are seen as proof the land was never ceded. The Philippine Constitution and the Manila Accord of 1963 reinforced the legitimacy of the claim. Diplomatic notes to the UN keep the issue alive internationally. Many Filipinos see this as correcting a colonial injustice, not just a territorial dispute. The claim endures, driven by law, history, and a sense of national duty. For Malaysia, Sabah's status is settled. Sabah is Malaysian, end of story. The government insists the 1878 agreement was a permanent cession, and points to the 1963 UN-observed vote, where Sabahans chose to join Malaysia. Any Philippine claim is seen as interference and a threat to national sovereignty. Malaysia responds forcefully to any challenge, defending its borders and citizens. Sabahans participate fully in Malaysian life, reinforcing Malaysia's position. The government's stance is backed by the public, especially in Sabah. For most Sabahans, the dispute is a frustrating distraction from their daily lives. Malaysia's message: respect the will of Sabah's people, and the reality on the ground. The issue is not just policy, it's national identity. In 2025, the Sabah dispute flared up again through diplomatic moves, not military threats. The Philippines linked its claim to Sabah with a UN submission on maritime boundaries, prompting a swift Malaysian objection. Manila countered by formally reviving its Sabah claim, tying land and sea disputes together. The Philippines argues geological continuity between Palawan and Sabah strengthens its case. Malaysia rejected the claim outright, urging the UN to ignore the Philippines' submission. The result: a tense exchange of diplomatic notes, with both sides defending their interests. The dispute remains a war of words, not weapons. Even after years of quiet, Sabah can quickly return to center stage. Both nations are careful to avoid escalation, but the world is watching. The modern heirs of the Sultan of Sulu have added a dramatic new twist to the long-running Sabah saga, a dispute that has spanned generations and continents. Once a matter of regional politics, the issue has now become a global legal drama, with the descendants of the Sultan stepping into the spotlight to claim what they believe is rightfully theirs. After Malaysia stopped making annual payments to the heirs in 2013, a tradition that had continued for decades, the heirs decided to take unprecedented action. They brought their case to international courts, arguing that Malaysia owed them not just back payments, but billions of dollars in compensation for the use of Sabah. Their legal team assembled evidence, historical treaties, and documentation, determined to prove their claim on the world stage. In 2022, a French arbitration court stunned the world by awarding the heirs a staggering $15 billion. This decision sent shockwaves through Malaysia's government and reignited global attention on the Sabah dispute, turning what was once a quiet historical claim into headline news. Malaysia responded swiftly and forcefully, challenging the legitimacy of the ruling and refusing to recognize the arbitration. Officials argued that the court had no jurisdiction and that the decision was both unfair and politically motivated. As the legal battle escalated, it spread across Europe, with the heirs seeking to enforce the award in various countries. This has made the dispute even more complex, involving multiple legal systems and international courts, and drawing in lawyers and officials from across the continent. Now, the Sabah issue is no longer just a diplomatic standoff between Malaysia and the heirs of the Sultan. It has evolved into a high-stakes legal and financial fight, with billions of dollars and national pride on the line. The case has also strained diplomatic relations between Malaysia and the Philippines, adding another layer of tension to an already complicated situation. The heirs' aggressive legal actions have put immense pressure on Malaysia to defend its assets around the world. Malaysian officials are now working tirelessly to protect their country's interests, knowing that a loss could have far-reaching financial and political consequences. This modern legal front demonstrates how old disputes can find new life in today's interconnected, globalized world. The Sabah saga, once confined to history books, now plays out in courtrooms and headlines, showing that the past can still shape the present in unexpected ways. The Sabah dispute has become a target for digital disinformation. A recent fake video claimed a naval standoff near Sabah, sparking alarm online. The Philippine military quickly debunked the video, clarifying that joint exercises, not conflict, were underway. Such disinformation aims to sow distrust and destabilize regional alliances like ASEAN. Advances in AI make fake news more convincing and harder to detect. Official sources and rapid responses are crucial to countering these digital threats. The digital battlefield is now as important as the diplomatic one. Both countries must remain vigilant to protect the truth and regional peace. The Sabah dispute affects all of Southeast Asia, not just the Philippines and Malaysia. ASEAN's unity depends on peaceful cooperation, and unresolved disputes threaten that stability. The Sulu and Celebes seas are vital trade routes and security hotspots. Joint patrols by the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia keep these waters safe. Escalation could undermine regional security and cooperation. How this dispute is managed sets a precedent for ASEAN's approach to other conflicts. A divided ASEAN is weaker against outside pressures. The way forward for Sabah will shape the region's future. As 2025 ends, the Sabah dispute remains unresolved, but peace and dialogue are the only way forward. Both nations have pledged to avoid conflict and pursue diplomatic solutions. ASEAN quietly encourages open communication and consensus building. Managing public opinion and debunking fake news are now part of the diplomatic challenge. People-to-people ties, through tourism, education, and trade, can help bridge divides. A lasting solution may take years, but patience and creativity are essential. The priority is to prevent the dispute from harming the strong relationship between the two countries. By choosing cooperation over confrontation, the Philippines and Malaysia can set an example for the world. Even the most difficult disputes can be managed peacefully, securing a stable future for Southeast Asia.